Howdy, 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 and more howdy to you. Welcome to the Lady Walker Show. I am Lady Walker, and I love it. We have a Jim Dandy of a show in store for you. Now, I know you have probably heard, I know I have heard that America is the land of opportunity. Well, therefore, my guest is here to share with us his accomplishments since he has been here on American soil, all the way from Ethiopia. Welcome to the show, Zelalem Dawit.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Greetings.
Yes, greetings to you, and thank you for having me.
Likewise, you are welcome. Now, you and I met via Frederick Payne.
Right.
He's always sending me some interesting people to interview. And he told me about a young man who came from Ethiopia, and he went to college and went to Piney Woods, and now he's an engineer. He said he may be someone you may be interested in interviewing. I said, of course I would like to interview him, because it would be nice for the people in America who are homegrown here to see how you can actually put your mind to doing what you want to do and be successful in it.
Right, exactly.
So tell us just a little bit. You are from Ethiopia, so tell us just a little bit about you. Of course, before taping, you and I did talk a little bit, but of course the audience didn't hear it.
Right.
So you are from somewhat of a small family, as with you and your brother.
Right, correct. Yeah, it's just me and my brother, and I was born and raised in Addis Ababa, which is the capital of Ethiopia. And I moved to the United States when I was 16 years old, my junior year in high school. I went to a small school called Piney Woods, go Nados.
All right.
And I graduated there and started my degree in civil engineering at Jackson State University, where I graduated in 2010. And I now work for IMS Engineers, and we are a design and construction company based in Jackson.
All right. Now, when we are going to go back to your education. And when you came here and you started at Piney Woods, tell us, how did you end up from Ethiopia to Piney Woods? Well,
I went to a school called St. Joe in Ethiopia. You may have heard of it. It's a Catholic school. And a couple of really good friends of mine came to the United States, to Piney Woods, and they told me about it, and I applied. Well, I should rephrase that. My mother applied for me, and through good fortune, I was accepted, and so I ended up there.
And your brother came
and my brother followed in my tracks 2 years later.
Well.
Piney Woods as well, correct.
And then you decided from there to go to JSU?
Right. You know, I applied to several universities, but of course Jackson State gave me a full scholarship to study there. And as one of the dorm managers at Piney Woods, you tell us the name of the game is free. So, you know,
the name of the game is
free. Yes. Feel free to use that. And, so, you know, I ended up there, and I had a really good time.
When you first
learned a lot.
To JSU, did you go in with a different major, or you went in to major in engineering?
Well, I started out as a chemistry major, if you can call having a major freshman year, because I thought I might want to go to medical school. But you know, I kind of had a feeling that just in case it doesn't work out, you know, I should have a backup plan. So that's kind of how I ended up in engineering too. You know, I kind of almost fell into it, and then it turned out to be something that, you know, I liked ultimately.
A lot of math involved.
A lot of math.
So more likely you were really good at it.
Well, you know, I've always been kind of weak at math, to be honest.
Really?
Yes. I have to really put in a lot of hours and hours of work, and then okay, once I get it down, I get it down. And, you know, that's kind of how I have to approach it. A lot. I mean, that's really all it is. You just need a lot of practice at it. Don't get me wrong. I have friends of mine that it just kind of comes to them, you know, and, you know, they hardly have to study. But I'm not that type.
Yeah,
I'm not that man.
Which is so interesting, because with young kids coming up today,
Right.
they may have some friends who really don't have to apply themselves that much.
Right.
It just comes naturally to
Right,
them.
exactly.
And they're not realizing that, well, you may have to study because it may not come natural to you from that
Correct.
standpoint. So
Yeah.
you have to put in the hours.
Exactly.
But that doesn't
exactly.
mean that you can't learn it.
Exactly. It's absolutely critical. I mean, there's just no shortcut around it. You have to put in the work. And I mean, who knows? Even for them, I mean, it may be that they're in some dark room somewhere and putting the hours in too, and it looks like they're not really trying. But it probably doesn't apply to, you know, you per se.
Right.
You know. So, you know, that's really the only thing.
So you
about
got
it.
your education. You
Right.
graduated with a bachelor.
Right, with a
BS
bachelor's,
degree.
right. And I applied to work at IMS Engineers, and we do all sorts of design and construction projects, especially for Hinds County. And we have projects in New Orleans and other cities in Louisiana. So yeah, it's
So
a good fit.
as a civil engineer,
Right.
civil engineering, that entails what?
Well, we deal with the big things in life, buildings and tunnels, roads, bridges. You know, infrastructure is our specialty. And we always like to say we make civilization happen.
All right.
You know,
And that's
small
good.
bit of credit there. Yeah. And you know, it's really interesting.
So but you're always busy in that particular career from that standpoint.
Right, exactly. I mean, of course, you know, there's no shortage of things that, you know, really need to get built. So yeah, we're always busy.
As
with that.
far as bridges are concerned, y'all
Right.
deal with the infrastructure of
Right.
bridges.
Correct. We do a lot of bridges. And as you may know, the American Society of Civil Engineers recently gave America a grade of a D- for infrastructure.
Really?
Yeah, it's thousands of bridges that are, you know, structurally deficient. Of course, the highways are just, you know, choked full of cars because they're not designed to handle the current volume of traffic. They were designed, you know, 60, 70 years ago. And now that's why we have so many gridlocks and traffic jams. So from that standpoint, it's really great because you feel like you're contributing in a meaningful way to the world, and you know, it's just really interesting stuff.
That really is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, I'm just thinking about some of the bridges that I wouldn't even want to drive over.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
some bridges that look so scary.
Yes. So
y'all help design some of those bridges.
right. And I mean, we replace them, you know, if we inspect them and find that they're not up to par. You know, we do, and we of course repave roads and things like that.
Now, going back to your parents,
Right.
since they are in Ethiopia.
Correct.
So they had high hopes for you and your brother.
Yes, they did. Yes, I would say that. You know, I always.
Because at the age of 16,
Yeah.
you came here.
Right.
And even though she applied for you,
Right.
evidently she wanted to see you and your brother do great things.
Right, of course. I mean, I can never shake the feeling that I never quite amounted to that expectation.
Really?
Yeah. You know, I always feel like I could have done more, or I could still do more, I guess.
You can, because you are fairly young. Fairly. You know, you are still young,
Sure.
okay?
But yeah,
And
you know.
even if you were old, you can still do those things, okay? We're not going to
Sure,
try to
yeah,
have all the
absolutely.
people thinking, well, you know, I'm old.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can still do
Yeah,
things
it's just-
even if you were old. Well, hold that before
Okay.
you answer it.
Sure.
And we are going to take a break and come back.
Sure.
And let you answer that.
Okay.
Beloved, we will be right back. Welcome back, beloved. My guest is Mr. Zelalem Dawit. Okay, you know I put Mr. there because you are.
Right.
Now, we were talking before we went on break that I'm pretty sure your parents had some great expectations for you and your brother, and you don't know if you actually met those expectations, but I'm pretty sure you have.
Well, I could only hope I did. So, you know, anyway, you know, all you can do is put your best effort forth, no matter what age you are, of course, And that's really all there is to it, I guess.
You need to say that again, please. Put your best foot forward, no matter.
No matter what the circumstances or the time. I mean, I read a really inspiring quote the other day. It said, "There's only 2 days out of the year where we cannot do anything. And that's yesterday and tomorrow."
Oh, and, wow, that's good.
Yeah, and today is the day to do anything that you set your mind to.
That is good.
So yeah, I think it was the Dalai Lama that said that.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, great.
Right. So
that's a nice little bit of wisdom. That's nice. Instead of focusing on yesterday and then on tomorrow,
putting it off
focus
for tomorrow.
right now on what you can do today.
Exactly.
Right.
And of course, it is always the greatest mistake to do nothing because you can only do a little. And if you can only do a little, just do what you can. That's
I love that too.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. Okay, I guess that's for me too.
Sure, I'm gonna charge you for the next couple of those.
Okay, you're gonna charge me. Okay. Now, do you get a chance to go back home throughout the year?
Well, it took me about 5 years to actually go back once I got here. So that was the longest time I spent without going back. But now I try to go back at least every year.
Every year.
So yeah.
Now, I mentioned earlier before taping that there are some, I guess, negative connotation or whatever that is attached to Ethiopia, not by Ethiopians, but by people from other countries.
Right.
They have this negative perspective about Ethiopia.
Right, and again, it's not just Ethiopia; it's just Africa in general. And again, when we come here, what ends up happening is, unfortunately, we end up being viewed as outsiders. And I once had a coworker tell me, "You're not fully black," and it was such a strange sentiment.
I know.
And there's this tendency to kind of see it as like a us-them thing, which is really not. It's obviously not the case. Black is black is black. And so, some misunderstandings happen with that. And of course, people tend to simply believe everything they see on TV.
I know, because I am guilty. I mean, they show, when they show certain countries in Africa, I think Africa is a continent.
Right.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, Ethiopia is one of the countries.
Is a country.
Yes,
right.
Correct.
Right.
And and some of the things they would show, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, undeveloped country.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. We from there looking over here can say the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, imagine if you're on the outside looking in and you see all these school shootings and all these other crazy things that happen here. You might think America's a crazy place to be.
Right.
But of course, everything has its good and bad. And the best way is to go and verify for yourself. Go visit Africa. Go see the world, really, but especially Africa.
Africa is a rich continent.
Right.
Yes,
Absolutely,
rich.
Absolutely. And it's go see for yourself. I really, really highly advocate that. I mean, there's just no substitute for going to this beautiful, beautiful place. And it's just an ocean of black people, and you feel your blackness very, very deeply. And you feel that oneness very, very deeply. And that sense of unity needs to be here. And that's really what causes a lot of misunderstandings and things like that. And sometimes, I'm always happy to talk about where I'm from and always happy to talk about different things. But, some people kind of approach you not out of a spirit of curiosity, but wanting to kind of push your buttons and things like that. So, but other than that, most of my experience here has been overwhelmingly positive, and I've had a lot of people
because
help.
I'm pretty sure, and coming here and education-wise, career-wise, you had some challenges.
Right, absolutely. I mean, there were huge challenges. One day you're lying in your bed there, and then next morning you're waking up here. It's tremendously emotionally wrenching. Of course, especially for my parents. And then, of course, you have to come here and adapt to the weather, and you have all these foods, and you've never had them before, and you're not sure what they're called, or anything like that. And so it's taken me a long time to get used. I would say I'm still really learning every day.
When I listen at you, your dialect,
right.
you know, is, I mean, I can understand it.
Right.
I mean, I guess maybe I don't have that. Maybe we can, Americans, you know,
right.
wrong can understand. I'm pretty sure everybody's accent isn't as thick. I mean, yours isn't.
Right. I mean, well, everybody has an accent to some degree. We have Southern accents and West Coast accents, so you know, an accent is not a bad thing. It's just how you talk.
Right. And I like to hear. Right. I mean, yours for me, I guess, not like mine now. You've been here for 10 years, okay?
Right. Yeah, you're just bound to adapt and kind of pick up things here and there.
And then you have the foods, as you said before.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm pretty sure you sort of cook some of the foods that your mom cooked.
Yeah, well, I mean, we try, but you know, of course, you have to find your different foods that may not be available here. I mean, okay, we eat the same things as chicken, beef, things like that. It's just prepared differently. We probably make like a chicken stew or something like that. But if you don't have the spices available or the traditional sourdough bread to eat it with, then it's kind of not really the same. So you're like, you know, I'm just gonna go back and eat whatever. So yeah. And of course, for me personally, there's a tendency to kind of disconnect myself from there because, you know, I kind of get homesick or something.
Okay.
So, you know, I have to put it out of my mind. And I don't even listen to music, you know, from back home. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It just kind of, I can tend to just drift off into kind of, you know, like, what is it called? Nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, you know, I don't need any of that. I kind of need to focus on the now.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, yeah.
But that's great. Well, we are going to get ready to take another break.
Okay.
And we are going to come back and I want you to talk about some of your other dreams and goals and all of that.
Sure.
Even though you're in a career right now that you probably enjoy.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure there are some other things you do. And,
absolutely.
And of course, you have some collections.
Right.
You got all.
Right.
We'll talk about some of those things. What do you do for leisure time?
Sure.
And all of that.
I would be happy to.
All righty, beloved. We will be right back. Welcome back, beloved. My guest is Zelalem Dawit. Okay, now let's talk about some other dreams and goals that you desire to pursue, or you may already be pursuing some of them. You may already be in the works.
Yeah. Well, you know, I try to, you know, do things in my free time that interest me and challenge me, really, because that's the only way you can grow. Is by challenging yourself to do things. And the words of Eleanor Roosevelt, you must do the thing that you think you cannot do. I've currently just started, you know, pursuit of photography.
Really? How is that?
I really enjoy it. It's wonderful. It's
so
wonderful.
So did you take pictures of nature, people in general, or?
Well, anything that I find beautiful.
Okay.
Really. So, you know, and thanks to the fact that I travel a lot for my job and, you know, for family purposes, I get the opportunity to take some nice shots of, you know, people posed and candid, shots of nature, you know, street photography. And thanks to, you know, social media like Instagram and things like that, you know, it's so easy to just share those experiences with people.
Well, you have to have a real good camera to capture the certain pictures that you want to capture them in a professional kind of way.
That's true.
An innocent professional kind of way.
Right. I mean, the thing is,
excuse me.
I actually just brought back my dad's old film camera, which must be at least 30 years old.
Wow.
And I've been taking pictures with that, and they turned out really nicely. And again, the most important thing is that you're taking some shots of something that you find beautiful and something that you love. It can be anything. It can be of your dog. I have several of those up on my profile. And it could be like, again, it's just about enjoying the moment and trying to capture it. And of course, in addition to that, I collect stamps, which I don't know if anybody else does that nowadays.
So you're talking about postage stamps.
Correct. Yeah, postage stamps. So that's always fun to look at and, you know, just think about all these old things.
How did that desire cultivate Well, of course, you cultivated that desire to collect stamps. I mean, where did that come from?
Well, it's just this. There's this thing about stamps. Well, the first thing is, there's this riddle. It's like, what stays in a corner but travels the world?
Okay.
It's a postage stamp, right? And
what stays in the corner but travels the world?
Right. And so you have these stamps, and some of them are really rare, and they have a story behind them. Where have they been, and who wrote what in what letter, where they are.
Are there any particular stamps or is it just various stamps? Like, for instance, if you look at African Americans, who actually did some great contribution in time.
I think I have a few of those. I have several of Queen Elizabeth, and a lot of Ethiopian ones, of course, naturally.
Yes.
So like I said, I just try to do different things and try different things and see which one interests me.
And you love reading?
And I love reading.
What types of books do you enjoy reading most?
Well, I try to vary that too.
Okay.
I try to read biographies a lot, and nonfiction. And if it's really good fiction, I read it nowadays as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how many books do you read a month?
Well, I try to read.
You get a chance to.
Yes, I try to read at least 2 or 3. Thanks to tablets and things, you have a whole library at your fingertips, and it's really good. Yeah.
And you have a dog.
I have a dog, Max. Yes, and he is a Terrier Shepherd mix.
Yes.
He's just the most wonderful, sweetest dog that ever lived, and we enjoy each other's company immensely. And I learned so much from him. He's just curious about every single thing, and sometimes as humans we tend to just be more mundane and just kind of go about our daily lives. For him, every little piece of furniture or even tissue paper is interesting for him. And he's always sniffing around and things like that. And of course, he's immensely loyal and caring. He does this thing where he just comes and just lays his head on my lap and when I'm sitting down, and it's just so precious to see. So it's wonderful.
So
it's wonderful to have a dog.
Do you travel overnight, or are you going like overnight or week or?
Well, it takes me a couple of days just to get there.
Oh. So with your dog, are you able to take him with you?
No, of course not. I have to leave him in the care of some friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
it has to be someone you can trust.
Right, absolutely. And someone that's not scared of dogs. I don't know why people are scared of dogs here.
Not scared of dogs. Is he like a small?
Yeah, no, he's a medium-sized dog.
Okay.
So, and anything smaller than him is a cat, not a dog.
So you only have one, you don't want to move
now.
Because that one could be a handful.
Absolutely. One is enough. And I really, really strongly recommend every man should have a dog. It's just,
really?
Yeah, there's no way around it. Every man should have a dog. And woman too, if you want, I guess.
I know one of my sisters has a dog. I don't know if I have seen the dog in person. I have been to her house, but I don't know if I have seen him in person. I heard him bark because she shouldn't be in the room because dogs, they bark.
Absolutely.
That. And I have seen pictures of him. And he's a beautiful dog. And he's all the hair. You can't hardly see his eyes or anything. But he's a cute dog.
Absolutely.
But, there's her baby.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does become like a brother or something, And, I don't know who could not love dogs. They're such good sports.
Yes.
And again, I really think every man should have a dog, not 5, not 7, but a dog.
It can be an in-house dog, okay? It can be an outside dog.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we are going to come up on one more break.
Okay, great.
And we're going to come back and we are going to somewhat
goals. and dreams. Yeah, I don't think we covered that yet. So
we are going to wrap it up with you.
Great.
A few of those things, because everybody got, well, maybe not everybody. I can't say everybody.
Most everybody.
There are a lot of people who have dreams and goals, and some had them, but they put them on the back burner, and they decide to do nothing about it because for whatever reason. But it's good to have them.
Absolutely.
Even if you are where you are now, like for you are a civil engineer,
right?
But still, of course, there are some things you're probably going to keep, seeking. And who knows? I'm not saying that you may want to go back to school to do seminars and just keep
absolutely.
Of your
That's actually mandatory in our career.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, we have to keep a continuing education.
And so this is where maybe you have to attend seminars or go back and take a class.
Absolutely.
And you should want to do that.
Absolutely, exactly.
Because you don't want to become stagnated. You're just only focusing, on, well, I know all I need to know.
Right,
with technology and everything.
That's never true. Right, and that's never true. There's always something new to learn.
Exactly. Well, we are going to come back and I'll wind back.
Okay.
Up and we'll be back.
Sounds good.
Welcome back, beloved. My guest is Zelalem Dawit.
Right.
All right. Now, what's next for you?
Well,
career-wise, or any dream-wise period. Well, I mean, what's next?
Well,
on your plate.
Sure. Listen, Africa is a nice place. It's very, very beautiful. But there are a lot of things that are desperately needed. And one of those is infrastructure. And that's really what I want to focus on and kind of really bring the continent up to speed, and it can be done and it will be done by somebody. And I just hope that somebody is me. And thanks to modern technology and all these incredible computers that we have, we can make great leaps and bounds in the things that ordinary people in Africa need so badly. And that's really what I'm focused on right now.
Well, that's great to be able to do something like that.
Sure, absolutely, it is.
For your continent.
Yes, absolutely.
Your country.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's good to, to have that dream, that goal, to be able to be of help and of service from that standpoint.
Exactly, and especially because I've been so fortunate to come here. I mean, it's a lot of guys and women out there that probably deserve to be here more than I do.
Yeah.
But I'm here now, and I want to kind of give back in what capacity I can.
I like that. I know you have probably heard the saying here since you've been here, and and I don't know if it's said in a negative way or what, but people say don't forget where you came from when you make it. But I don't know how to. I guess it depends. What do you mean? Don't forget where I came from.
Right.
I'm out to get where I came from because I'm trying to better myself.
Exactly.
But not that I will forget, but if you can reach back and help someone else up,
absolutely,
that's fine.
That would be that's really the whole point of it. Exactly. Yeah.
All righty. Well, Zelalem, thank you so much for coming out and giving of your precious time.
Yes.
I certainly appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure my audience appreciate that too, because they got a chance to meet a young man who is doing great things in his life, and then also in the lives of those back home. Okay, because you have made your parents, I'm pretty sure, happy, as well as your brother, whom we didn't get a chance to talk much about, because he's too has accomplished some great things here. Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
But of course, he's not here in Jackson, Mississippi.
Right. He's in North Carolina. But again, thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
In the meantime, beloved, thanks to the trio for tuning in.